Anyway, so Don, thanks so much. And let's get us started with just kind of giving us an idea of your background and your duties in your current job. Tell us about yourself.
I've been here just a couple years, actually less than 2 years. I worked for Channel 10, a local news station, for about 15 years. I actually started with the Ohio News Network and then moved over to Channel 10. And the last 3 of those years were specifically on the internet for their 10tv.com. Which was good because I kind of was into the tech geekiness, but I also liked the breaking news. But at some point, I wanted a little bit of a change, so that's why I kind of moved over to education. It was a nice switch, and hopefully today, I kind of brought a lot of tools that we use in the news business to turn things around really quickly, and so that's kind of what I thought I'd show today.
And as a former news person myself, transitioning into school PR, there's definitely a lot of things that and anyone who transitions into school PR, you can kind of bring with you. Just like now, it's fun to learn all the different tricks and things that people are using to kind of help us all in our jobs. So let's get started, and we're going to go with Pixlr first, right?
Yes. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully everybody can see that. It's good. All right. So we're going to start talking a little bit about stuff that's working, stuff that's not working for me. Hopefully, you'll find something in here that maybe you're using. I'll give you maybe a different way of using it, or maybe something brand new, but feel free to ask questions kind of as we go. So the first thing that we're going to use is Pixlr, because that's the first thing that was kind of asked to me when Tom called me. We had done some stuff on the line, and he wanted to know how we did it. And I said, well, it was Pixlr.com. It has both a desktop and a app that you can use. It's a photo editor. I know there are hundreds of photo editors out there. So if you have one that you like or use one, then you might not want to switch over to Pixlr, but it's a really easy one to use if you're not using them. It's a very quick photo editor. You can do a lot of different effects very quickly, which is why I like it. You can do photo collages. You can add text or images, crop, filters, erase things, which I'm going to show you. And once you get to use the app, the desktop is very similar and vice versa. So once you kind of get used to one. The one thing I want to mention, we're a Schoolwire's Blackboard site for our website. If you have the same CMS, if you use a Blackboard CMS, this is usually built into your CMS. So if you upload pictures, you can actually edit with Pixlr inside your CMS, which is a nice little option.
Wow. Now, let me interrupt you real quickly. Yes. Do you use the app as well as the desktop? What do you prefer?
Yes, I use both of them, especially on the, I usually carry, when I go out to the schools, I usually have my camera and an iPad, and the iPad is for quick kind of turnaround things, and so I have it on that iPad, so I use kind of the desktop version on that. In my personal life, I use it on my phone quite a bit, trying to keep up with, if you take multiple pictures, I know Twitter now, you can update and send 4 or 5 pictures at the same time. It didn't used to be to do that. You had to make the collages, so that's kind of where it started.
Gotcha. Okay, go ahead.
So I've opened it up on the desktop. When you get to, again, Pixlr.com, you'll see there's a photo editor on the left-hand side. That's kind of like a dumbed-down photo shop. So I usually don't use that, because if I'm going to do that, I go ahead and use Photoshop. So I just use the Pixlr Express. And when you open it up, you see there's 4 different categories kind of across the bottom. There's the collage on the far right, and then to the left of that is the webcam if you want to take a picture of yourself, open URL if you want to try to take a picture from a site, or the browse button if you're just using one picture. I'm just going to show you real quickly the collage and the browse button and kind of how we use it. Again, the collage is very quick and easy if you want to make a picture with multiple other pictures. If you open up, you see the basic 4, but you can also choose from lots of different layouts. One of the things I was going to show you is that, for example, when it was school lunch day, we created this image with all of our lunch food service people. Went out and took their pictures and made a quick Pixlr image and then posted it to social media. It did really well. But going back to Pixlr here, so you can choose a lot of different options. So for example, if you wanted an option with 3 pictures and then you selected some pictures, you just click on the plus sign, add them the way you want. And the nice thing that I like about this program is that you can easily change them. So let's say, oh wait, I forgot a picture, I want to make 4. You can add one underneath. like this one, and then I could maybe switch them. Maybe I like this one over here and vice versa. And so you can make a really quick collage. You can change the spacing so that you can have a little bit more of a border or less of a border. You can round the pictures in the border, change the color if you have a nice little school color. The proportions if you want a little skinnier, a little fatter. So you can make a really quick picture that you can use on social media. Now, I wouldn't use this on a lot of different websites. Quality maybe is a little bit less than you'd want if you're doing like any kind of digital imaging or things like that, or printing, but for website, it's really quick and easy to do. So that's the collage function. But I also use it a lot just for regular pictures.
Okay.
I take a lot of pictures, and some of them turn out good. Many of them turn out really bad. So I try to make them better through this. And the adjustment, so when you open up a picture of Browse, you get like several different options down here. The adjustment, when you open it up, it's a lot like a lot of pictures you see, you know, contrast, sharpen, blur, things like that. But the ones I'll show you a few features that I really use that I haven't really found other places. One is the rotate. Usually when you open up a picture editor and you rotate, you have the option of doing 90-degree angles. This one you can actually straighten. It seems like all my pictures are slightly off, so this one you can actually move and save exactly the way you want, and it gives you a little grid to kind of help there.
That's nice.
So I use the rotate button quite a bit to make sure people are straight in our pictures. The other one that I really use is heal. They call it heal. I'm not sure why. I consider it an eraser. If you have a kid face in the back of your picture, or if you find a kid that maybe isn't supposed to be in a picture, you can heal. So what I'll do is show you how we can erase things in the picture. So you select the brush size, and then you go up here and you click on whatever you want to, quote, heal and unheal, and that just kind of makes that go away. And the more you do it, the more it kind of blurs it and take it in the background. So if you do it enough, you eventually get rid of the entire letter or face or whatever part of the picture you don't want. And again, if I could do this, I could do it in Photoshop. It might take me a really, really long time, but this way.
I was just going to say, I've tried the same thing in Photoshop, and it tends to take me a while to match the pattern and cover things up. And all you did was take that and go over the S.
Yeah, so all I did was hit the heel, change the brush size, and hit it. You know, you can make it as big as you want, so you can, you know, take a T and go around.
Wow.
Apply and save, and the save button's right up here, so you just apply and save it however you want it. If you change your mind, you can just cancel or close and start over.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of tools right there in front of you. I've used PicMonkey before, but I like the layout of this one on both of these examples that you've shown, because everything's just kind of spelled out for you.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Exactly what you can do.
And you can, you know, one of the things you can do is like splash color. If you want to just kind of make your media stand out by hitting splash, you can change things to black and white and color. I like using the focal. Is kind of a 3D editor, but you kind of make things stand out. So if you want to make Worthington stand out, or the Worth, you apply there. It kind of makes a little 3D image. So there's a lot of little techniques to make your pictures pop on social media, because obviously as everybody's scrolling through Twitter and Facebook, you kind of want to have some image that, hey, that makes me want to stop. And a lot of times we take pictures that don't do that. And so by maybe adding a little color, adding a little change, you can do that.
That's a great point, because everyone's kind of hopped onto the knowledge now that you have to add a picture to it. So now that everybody's using pictures, you got to kind of kick it up a notch.
Exactly. And along with the adjustment, obviously those are kind of the techniques you use through here. And you know, everybody knows crop and doodle if you want to just draw on it or things like that. You can also add an image on an image if you ever need to do that for any reason. You can add an image on top of one and just resize it and put it where you want. Along with the adjustments that I just showed you, you see there's a lot of different other things down here. Effect is basically filters, you know, your Instagram filters. The nice thing I like about Pixlr is you can change the level of effect. So let's say I wanted to use this effect. I'm like, ooh, that's a little too blue. I can turn it back a little bit and save it so it's not quite you got to get different levels of the filter. You You have overlays, which are more like filters, but with designs and patterns on them. A border is just a frame. A lot of different stickers. They do holiday stickers too. So around Christmas and Halloween, they give you a special set of stickers if you want to put those on.
Mm-hmm.
And then also text. Again,
can you throw one of those overlay? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Can you throw one of those overlays on there? I'm really curious what that looks like.
So if you want to do the retro poster, it gives you that kind of look. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like I said, now they also have overlays that are color enhancers. So if your picture is a little too blue, too green, you can put something over it to kind of correct it if you need to.
Mm-hmm.
And then type, again, you can add text. The nice thing, if you make a collage, you can add text to it on top.
Mm-hmm.
Or at any time, you can add text onto these things. And the text gives you some options. And so I can say type here. And then you can change the color again. And change the way it looks. Again, you can't really edit the depth of it on the Express. So you can't add shadows or anything to your text, but for social media in a hurry, it does a pretty good job.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that's Pixlr. I don't know if you want me to go on, if there's any other questions that you had about that.
Does anyone have any questions on Pixlr before we move on to the next thing? I don't know if other people have used that before. Seems like there's so many little things out there. Like I said, I use PicMonkey, but I also see this too. I use Canva quite a bit. But this could even, if you have a nice picture you want to use as a background, this could be a great thing to make those quick pictures too. So we can always come back to it. Doesn't look like there's any questions on that. So let's go to Storify. I'm really excited to see how you use this.
All right. So Storify is a website that basically helps you gather your social media in one place. We use it in two different ways. If there's a big event that we have a lot of people tweeting from, like for a graduation or something like that, we use it to gather and post on a web page. We also use it every week. We do something called Social Media Weekly. In fact, I'll show you if you go to our website. Of course, I changed it. I have the web page. I have it stretched out here. Still there?
Yep.
All right. So if you go to our web page, and now I'm not going to see it because I'm on two screens here. But we have what's called Social Media Weekly. And I'm going to come back to that. But you can basically see that we grab everything for a week and we put it on one social media place. And then we tweet out a picture using Storify. We pull a bunch of pictures in one place. And then we tweet it and Facebook it out and kind of show people what it is. So again, Storify, you can gather Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything in one place. And it easily embeds, at least on our site, it gives you embed code so you can kind of paste it into the same page every week. So we average, when we put it on social media and get a good response, we average around 350 people or views kind of throughout the week, which is not bad. So if I jump over to Storify, nice. And again, I gotta change my screen here. There we go. So this is kind of the back end of Storify. So when you actually view something, I'll show you, this is like our this week in Storify. So this is what it looks like when you get it on your site. So basically on Thursdays and Fridays, I take everything that we've done. This is a student of ours that got a picture with the president. We had a new video come out this week. And basically I put them all on one page and then I kind of tweet something out that looks like this that says, hey, come see, who's on Storify this week, or you're never going to know who's might be on one of our tweets. And then we share that out on Facebook and Twitter with a link to our Storify site. Makes sense?
That's fun. That, and that's too kind of a if you missed it type of thing, and just puts everything right together.
Yes. So if I go to our Storify page, and let's see here. So if you go to the back end, edit, I'll show you how quick and easy it is. And again, I'm sorry that my screen is jumping around here. All right, so this is the edit phase. Once you create an account, you basically just hit create a Storify, and you get to this phase. So you put the title and subtitle here. These are ones that you have already added to the Storify. Over on the right-hand side is how you add. So, for example, if I wanted to add something to a Worthington Storify from Twitter, I'd search maybe our hashtag, which is it's worth it. It'll find whatever ones are on here, and I say, oh look, Bluffview Music has tweeted something today, so I'm going to drag and drop it and add it. Terry O'Brien has tweeted something today, drop and add. So basically, that's all you do. You do the same thing with links. They have GIFs now. They have YouTube that you can look, either search for videos or put your own link in here and grab it. Facebook's a little trickier. You can cut and paste your URL. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It just kind of depends. But for everything else, it seems to be really good to kind of drag and drop. So then once you
do you set up the like, is it connected to your social networks already, or do you just kind of put those URLs in there from your own Facebook page, or is it somehow linked together?
The Instagram is linked, but for Twitter and Facebook, now you can search, if you want to search Twitter for your own, then you just add, you can search by user. So you just search for your whatever your handle is, and they would pull that up. But then you can search by hashtag, you can search by a little bit of everything. So Instagram, you actually have to log in. But everything else you just kind of search for, or cut and paste the URL. And then once you publish it, a couple things that you can do is, of course, it's going to take a minute to publish, but at the top where it says view and publish, view and publicize, you can tweet everybody who's in it, or at least a handful of people that are in it, say, hey, you're in the Storify, you might want to retweet us. It kind of builds up that base, or share it with a few people. You can change the template a little bit if you'd like the grid. Sometimes I switch it to grid if I have a lot of pictures, a lot of things to share.
So that's nice.
One big long page. It's a grid.
So
and then, of course, I take the embed.
That's how they'll view it, or does the viewer get to change how they see it?
They can either way. They can change it if they want the grid view. There's three different views. There's the basic view, there's the grid view, and then there's also a slideshow view. So people can select a slideshow if they want to. But that doesn't always work if you have a lot of videos in it, because it plays all the music at the same time, which I found. But it works well as a slideshow, but it does pull every audio that you have in it. So just be aware of that if they switch to the slideshow mode. One nice thing about too, when it's embedded on our page, if I can get over there, is that it also gives you the option that they can share it on a number of different social media networks if they want to.
Oh, nice.
So again, we use it every week. I was going to show you, like, we also used it for events, if we have big events. So we had a principal that was honored. They did a big assembly. So we basically, again, a lot of different students were tweeting, a lot of staff was tweeting. We had video. Instead of having to go out and gather that all and kind of build our own web pages, we just drag and dropped it into Storify, renamed it, and then shared it out, sent it to students, and tweeted at them. And then they ended up sharing it, and so it did really well. I think as of last check, so this was it got almost 1,700 views, which I consider pretty good considering traffic on a Storify.
Yeah. Now this top image here, is that do they just kind of pull one of the images to do that, or is it always the first one? Or
it's always the first one. They will pull the top one, and then if you switch it, you just republish it, and it'll switch out.
Okay. And can you rearrange those too? I assume, like, once you're dragging them in, can you kind of move them around?
Yeah. Once you go back into it, you can go into edit mode again, and easily, like, okay, let's say I didn't want that to be the top, I could pull it back down.
Oh, okay, nice. Now, have you seen other people kind of trying to use some of this stuff? I can see where this might be fun
Yeah,
for
we have,
teachers.
there's one superintendent locally that does his own, like he basically takes all of his tweets and puts them out every week, which is a great idea. I've seen a couple schools do the big event type thing, graduation. First day of school, we did kind of the same thing, along with slideshows. We did basically put this image out to everybody out there on social media networks, and then pulled them all into a Storify and kind of shared that out when we did it.
Nice. Well, that's fun. It's kind of a nice weekly recap too. And I know that some schools and PR folks do that for their staff. That might be kind of a fun thing to just share with staff who maybe they're not sitting on social media for the school all week, and a way for them to kind of see what you've showcased.
Yeah, what I found too, it's just from personal trial and error. We do a little bit. We usually share it either on Friday afternoon, Saturday morning. I always put an image with a bunch of different pictures on it, and kind of say, hey, is your kid in here, without saying, is your kid in here? And it seems that Saturday mornings work really well. Again, I know we have just about the same amount of traffic on Friday evenings and Friday afternoons, but Saturday morning for some reason works really well for us, at least for our audience, and they've kind of grown to expect it. So like I said, we usually get 350 people to view it, and I know that's mostly from social media. Very few people, I think, come in and check on the website every week. They just kind of know that it's going to be on the Facebook page and tweet it out. So then that's how we use it. Nice.
Time is flying here. We have about 20 minutes left.
Right.
So let's just go down the list. Hootsuite, that is something that I use too. I love Hootsuite, and I know there's TweetDeck too. But talk about kind of how you use that.
Basically, to track as a district, my philosophy, and I don't know if this gels with what you guys think, and I'd totally be willing to talk about it, but I like everything that our district does as far as staff tweets. If I see something from our district, I like it. I don't always retweet it because I don't want to spam people, kind of more generous about that. But I kind of think it encourages the staff to tweet more and to do it. So I use my Hootsuite set up so that I have several different columns of to track kind of what people are doing. I have our hashtag, I have our district mentions, and once every couple hours I'll go through and just basically make sure that I'm liking everything. It's also really good if you have a personal account and you're trying to keep them separate, and you just want to tweet from one or tweet from the other. So basically Hootsuite, again, is since we're running short on time, I won't go through all of it, but you basically make columns with your social media. You kind of follow along with Facebook, Twitter, and you can kind of set them up the way you want them. And that way you don't have to kind of dig through what all the Twitter likes, dislikes, hashtags. It's kind of all laid out and it pulls it in for you.
Right. Now, when you scrolled across there, I noticed you had different social networks all on your dashboard.
Yes. Yeah. As you can see, the ones far right are more personal, but still makes it easy.
Yeah. Because I have different tabs that I go back and forth between, but
yeah. So again, the other nice thing about Hootsuite, it's really good if you schedule tweets. I know it's harder to. Obviously, Facebook has a really nice built-in scheduler, but this is really good if you want to put tweets out. You have the scheduling option right here. Basically, you just pick time and day and schedule away.
Yes, that's exactly what I use it for too, because Twitter doesn't allow you to schedule anything. It also doesn't allow you to edit. Someday, hopefully, Twitter will allow us to edit.
Exactly. Not delete and repost, delete, repost.
Exactly. You always find that misspelled word or an odd period or, exclamation point. Okay, the next thing, I love this. So I think we know we want to be on Twitter. We're trying to get our staff on Twitter. And there's some Twitter challenges. And then you've got Twitter bingo too. So run through kind of what you did with your staff, how it worked and that kind of thing.
All right. Yeah, sure. The good news, I will say that the biggest asset that I have is I have a superintendent that is really into social media, loves to tweet. Actually came in yesterday and said, hey, can we do one of those mannequin challenge things? I was like,
oh my
okay.
gosh, those are great.
So he was really into it. Since he drives it, that helps us out. But when I was hired, it was to redo the website, but also kind of drive the engagement, try to get more staff involved. So we came up with a couple things that we did last year, one in October last year, one in February last year. The first one was the Twitter challenge. Basically, we took every day of the month and encouraged people to tweet on a different subject. As you can see them here, you know, how do you make a student smile? What's your favorite book? What's your favorite phrase? And then you could tweet a picture of something awesome in your classroom. So we had those. And one of the things, I took Storify, and I would each day gather all the tweets and then put that out as a, hey, here are the books that our staff's reading, or here's some cool things in our classrooms, and share that out. So kind of use that, Storify in that respect. So that was in October of last year. We got really good response. And then we wanted to do something a little more fun in February. So we did Twitter bingo. This was an optional thing for staff to do. As you can see, we really wanted to emphasize pictures and video, because what we found in the challenge is if people didn't take pictures or didn't have to take pictures, they didn't. What we did was, again, sent this out to staff. We put it on the website. We basically said, hey, there's a prize. You know, if you fill out much of the card, we'll do a drawing. And then we encouraged them to do the pictures and videos. And then what we did afterwards was we had 4 winners. We made little candy water bottles and delivered them, took their picture, and then used that as a tweet, because, again, that gives us free content, and said, hey, look, you know what, this is Mr. Pound. Look what Mr. Pound, he won this from tweeting. Make sure you follow him to see what's going on in Slate Hills Gymnasium. So, again, trying to build content upon content. And I think we have, the other thing we did this year, which I don't really have an example of, but for Convocation this year, when we had all of our staff together, we had teachers on video giving examples of stuff they've done throughout the year. And one of them was a music teacher who basically said, hey, I started Twitter this year and I had the best turnout that I ever had for our school musical. I really think it's because I was sharing ideas. Parents really love it. Staff really loves it. So having that kind of reinforcement, I think, has helped our numbers. I mean, right now, our superintendent keeps a really good list as far as Worthington. I think we have like 400 on it right now. So that includes organizations. So that's not all staff, but it's all Worthington school related Twitter accounts out there.
Wow, that's fantastic. Have they all kind of gotten onto that hashtag? Is everyone pretty much using that?
We have pounded the It's Worth It hashtag. There's kind of 2 of them out there. There is kind of in a crisis situation. We've had a few of those. People kind of go to Worthington Strong. You know, we've had a couple, you know, teachers fighting cancer and some tragedies that way. So people kind of rally around Worthington Strong, but they kind of know that's a little different than It's Worth It. So those are the 2 that we use back and forth. We kind of pushed the It's Worth It. The Worthington Strongs was a little more organic, but they both seem to work. My big push to staff is that always either tag the district or use a hashtag, or I'm not going to see it. So I kind of fight that battle all the time, and I keep reminding them, hey, if you want me to retweet you, if you want me to like your tweets, you got to share one of those things on there.
Yep, I just shared that same thing with our staff the other day, because, you know, or I'll see it too late and it's like, well, I can retweet it, but it would be fun to do it, you know, as it's happening too, to just get more eyes on it. You know, you said, of course, not everybody is onto this, but it still has a ripple effect, because people are talking about it, and, you know, even if they're thinking about Twitter. So, I mean, it's already engaging a lot of people, right? Yeah,
exactly. I mean, one of the if you see on the Twitter bingo, one of the things we did was each of the 4 corners are selfies. We kind of did that on purpose, and we made people, like, one of them is share a selfie with your principal. So just a reminder to all the principals, they need to be sharing stuff. Most of our principals run the school Twitter accounts. Now at the high schools, they kind of share those duties. And I've kind of encouraged that in middle and elementary. It hasn't really happened yet, but I'm like, hey, you can't do it all. You know, why don't you share your password with somebody? But it's kind of touch and go depending on the school. Right. Like you said, by having those selfies out there, and, you know, hey, you get to see principals, you get to see kind of everybody. It seems to build that engagement. And like, we do have teachers that say, hey, I saw this happen in the music room because somebody tweeted it. We're going to try that now. So
Mm-hmm.
the more of that I see, the better.
Now, how did you know that people won? Did they send you a picture of their bingo card,
Yes, they
or kind
actually,
of how did that happen?
pull that up just in
Okay.
case. Yes. So this
Yep.
was like one of the music teachers. Basically, she wasn't required to write in all the ones that she tweeted, but she did. So basically, they just crossed them off. We kind of went on the honor system. I didn't go back and look and see, but so we had a couple dozen, I think, maybe a few more that did it, and then we picked out 4 winners.
Nice. Hey, if you would be willing to maybe send us the PDFs of both of these things so we can share it with those on the LunchNar, that would be awesome.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. That's really neat. It's always fun to just try something new. It's one thing to say, hey, everyone get on Twitter. It's a really cool thing. But when they can work with, and other people are doing the same thing, it's kind of this little social thing. It's really much more of a visual, you can prove it more visually, I guess, that it makes a difference.
Yeah, definitely. And we definitely have our superstars out in the schools.
Mm-hmm.
And Bingo gave us a way to leverage those to kind of say, hey, look what these folks are doing, because they really stepped up. So that's one of my challenges, is trying to find more ways to feature, hey, this guy's really a star, or this guy's really tweets every day and has really great pictures, and use them as an example.
I also like things too that are within the staff. It's kind of a staff morale thing, because even if they're not taking part, they can go look at that hashtag and see what's going on. So that's pretty cool. Okay, Instagram. I tell you what, Instagram is something that I have been doing much more of this year, and you realize how many people are on Instagram. This is a huge one. Oh, sorry, we're on Facebook Live.
Okay.
Sorry.
I can go either order.
Either one. Let's go Instagram real quick, since I already yapped about it. But I think it was kind of an eye opener for me as to how many people are really on here, and that's definitely a platform you need to include in the group.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I don't know I assume that most school demographics are kind of the same. We obviously have a lot of moms on Instagram. We have a lot of elementary school kids on Instagram. Mm-hmm. So trying to leverage both those audiences. We started an Instagram account last year. We have, I think, 600 followers now. So not growing quite as fast as I hoped, but we're getting there. We did posters. This is just an example of, we put posters on all of our schools. That I just thought I'd show that. We actually had a high school intern that we had design this poster, and we printed them off. We obviously are trying to do a lot with mission and vision statements. As you can see in the middle, kind of as we do kind of rollouts in the school, hey, how can we show these on social media as well? And then down here on the right-hand corner, this is not my idea, but I saw this like a couple weeks ago while I was at a water polo tournament in Sylvania. So this is totally their idea, but these are window decals that they have when you walk into the schools. So I don't know if anybody else is using that, but I'm totally stealing that idea as a good reminder.
Me too.
Yeah. So those are basically just stuck on when you walk into their school, right at their door handle. You see those. I thought it was a good idea when I thought I'd share that, because I'm stealing it. I thought other people might want to too.
Yeah, and we have one of our graphic design classes actually at the high school. That's one of the things, is they make these stickers and decals. So I'm going to head there maybe after this.
There you go. You want to go Facebook Live?
Yes, let's do this. Because you're using both of them, right?
What's that?
You use both Facebook Live and Periscope, right?
We do. It's kind of a touch and go thing. And again, it's kind of the Wild West out there, as everybody knows, like, what do you do and how do you do it? We've been doing Facebook Live probably for about a month, and then Periscope, we kind of did a little bit last year and a little bit this year. It's kind of a catch-22 because we have more people engaged at that moment on Twitter when you share on Periscope. You'll get 25, 30 people following. Facebook, you might only get 5 or 6 followers or 10 followers, but then you look at the engagement overnight. Like, for example, we've done a music class, we've done a gym class, and it seems like as parents find it overnight, like you may only have 25 engagement at the 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but then the next day you come in and like 3,000 people have viewed it and shared it and things like that. So I think Facebook makes it easier to find these things, and they live longer on Facebook. I think Periscope's for the moment. A lot of times we had a naturalization ceremony with people taking the oath to the country a couple of weeks ago, and we had both a choir performance and an orchestra performance. So I Facebooked one, and I Facebook Live one, and Periscope the other, just to see the difference. And I think again at the time Periscope does better, but then Facebook kind of over time. And I will say, out of all of our Facebooks live, we did one in a gym class, which was good content because it's kids climbing and swinging. They were climbing to it. Also, the parents, they emailed all the parents beforehand, like the day ahead of time, saying, "Hey, make sure you join and watch." And I had a really good engagement by doing that one step.
Yeah, I often think of Facebook Live of using it as we're going to go to this event, and hey, I'll go ahead and live stream this. But teasing it up, letting people know that it's going to happen, just like an actual event, but they can just sit back and watch it live.
Yeah, especially for parents. I think that really is where it starts with the engagement, and they share it with their friends, or they share it with grandparents, and obviously grows exponentially after that.
Now, I'm curious, do you narrate kind of what people are looking at? Do you do a little introduction? Or
I have been known to go up to a kid or a staff member and kind of play reporter and be like, "So what are you doing?" Or what, kind of help it along. I try not to do much of that, but occasionally it helps. And like I said, we had when we did the gym one, we had kids again swinging. I had to walk up a few and say, "Hey, what was that like?" And that they were talking about it. And so again, I'm the unnamed voice behind the feed, but yes, I do that.
Nice. I finally used Facebook Live this weekend. We had a cross country team that won state, and so they had the fire trucks bring them in. And I did go live with it. And you're right. Like during it was some engagement, but it just kind of flew. Really took off afterwards. But someone said, "Oh, you should have been narrating. Hey, here we are." And I thought, well, I was just trying to let the story speak for itself, but I can see where you could do it both ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, are we on to Snapchat?
Yeah, I'll briefly. We're dipping our toe in Snapchat. We have an account. We haven't actually done anything from our account. We're starting to kind of tease it out this weekend and over the next couple of weeks to try to get some followers and see how that works. I think we might do like a day in the life of one of the schools or something like that, or behind the scenes to kind of kick that off. But the thing we have done is a geotag, which it was kind of for our two schools. Our high schools played each other in football. So we made a geotag, as you can see on the right here, with help from, again, an intern who knew a lot more about it than I did. So we shared it. The nice thing about geotags is you can basically set the distance and the time. So we had this available around our stadium that the game was being played at for 5 hours from 6 to 11, and basically sent out on Facebook and Twitter. We tweeted it out quite a bit. Hey, you can do this. Hey, kids, look for it. So we spent the actual geotag. It was $23. It was used 261 times. It was seen, according to Snapchat, by over 18,000 people. Again, that is their numbers that they gave us, which I have no way of telling you whether that's right. But I think it's a way to kind of do Snapchat without actually doing Snapchat. By you see these geo filters everywhere. It's what the kids are using. I have a teenager that I try to say, "Hey, would this be cool?" And if she says yes, then hey, let's try that. And that's kind of how that came about.
Well, and to get the price down, I learned very quickly, like you do need to do a shorter amount of time and a smaller area. Otherwise, it gets real pricey real quick.
Yeah, the difference between doing like right around the stadium and doing around the entire school campus was from $28 to I think it was $300 if we wanted to draw it around the entire. So it does go up pretty quick when you expand the area.
Right. That's great. That's really neat and a good way to kind of dip your toes into it too. Cause that's definitely a new one. For us, we are kind of in the same boat as you. We have an account and now it's just a matter of trying to figure out what to do with it.
Exactly.
I'm just curious if, as people are listening into, kind of type in real quick, which social media platforms you guys use. And if you do use Snapchat and enjoy it, or if you kind of, again, tried it and abandoned it. So we'd like to hear from you guys too, to kind of see what you're using. And kind of as we wrap up here, as people kind of come in, Facebook and Instagram. Yep, definitely. You got some other apps too that we'll go through as people are kind of sharing what they use.
Yeah, real quick. Holly had asked me about Obviously, it works better with video if you upload it directly to Facebook. So if I see a teacher or a staff member tweet a video, I take the link and I put it into download Twitter video. Basically, it's just you cut and paste the Twitter URL video, hit download MP4, and then you have yourself a video to use into Facebook.
So you get that file type right there, just from that URL.
Yep.
One question in here, Don, most people will say, do Facebook above all else. How do you view that? Do you agree with that?
I agree with that for our core audience. At this point, yes. I mean, I think it might change. I mean, obviously you got to watch the numbers and watch where people are going. And also, especially for our parents and staff, definitely Facebook. I can tell you as a father of a teenager, she has no interest in Facebook. So if I'm trying to reach students, I got to go Twitter and eventually Instagram and Snapchat. So it definitely depends audience. I will say that what I try to do, for better or for worse, is if we have something that we're trying to push, an event or some sort of theme, what we try to do is different pictures, and we change the wording, and I put them on all the different social media, but I kind of try to change it enough. I don't have any of mine linked. I know some people, I see that in schools, and I want to bang my head against the wall when I see somebody who obviously has their Facebook and Twitter linked, and they push one to the other, and it has some awful consequences on the other end. So we do try to change the pictures, change the message for each of our social media, and just kind of look at the audience. So if we're doing it Facebook, we're kind of thinking, hey, that's parent, staff, community. Obviously, community is big with Facebook as well. But then on Twitter, maybe it's a little bit of everything, teenagers, parents, everybody. And then Instagram, I find a lot of elementary school kids, and then maybe like one of their parents, two of their parents on the Instagram. So it's all kind of growing, and we're just trying to figure it out as we go.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and what's going to be most responsive, because I think it depends on the district too. Site Improve, you've got that on there.
It's a paid product, so I'm not here to advertise for them, but we did end up this year. We have 19 schools, 19 websites. I can't keep track of them all. We have people that update them all, and basically what Site Improve does is gives me a dashboard to let me know if there's misspellings, broken links, ADA compliance issues. So again, they can give you a demo, but something I thought I'd mention since I do use it. The Wendogram app, Instagram. Basically, it's just it shows you the day, and it shows you what time. It'll show you like the 3 or 4 best times to Instagram throughout the day according to your audience. So I have that downloaded on the iPad, and I use that. And Venngage, I know a lot of people use Canva, which is really good. Venngage is kind of a very similar product, but it kind of builds different a little more sleek, if you ask me. If I'm not trying to do pictures, just infographics, I kind of lean Venngage. Just to show you an example of something we created this week. So this is for a website. And basically,
nice.
We took this from the Ohio Department of Education, put out a graphic, but it wasn't quite in line with what we do. But we wanted to kind of do similar. So we pulled their information, added what we needed to add for Worthington, and built this in Venngage.
And all the little icons there, like the graduation cap and the diploma, is that stuff that you added? That
stuff that they had in there, I just dragged and dropped it. So
nice.
Again, like Canva, you have something on the left-hand side, and you try and drag and drop it to the right. So when you're editing something, it basically has a bunch of different icons on the left-hand side that you're just looking for and dragging and dropping to the right.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Now it's free to a point. If you wanted to get the high quality graphic and download it and print it, or like the top version, then you have to pay. But you can get an embeddable image. You can get some other things without doing that. So again, it's very similar to Canva, but I find for me, if I'm doing something with a picture and adding text and stuff, maybe Canva, but to build something like this, I kind of feel this product's a little more adaptable for me.
Right. Nice. Well, gosh, these are fantastic tools. And just kind of to wrap up too, where do you find, some of these things that you use? I don't want to say where's your inspiration, but where do you find these things?
You know what? A lot of them is I brought from journalism, just from friends and colleagues. I don't know if anybody's. This is more of a personal, not a professional, but I use an app called Flipboard. If you guys use it on iPad, where you can basically, it's kind of like a magazine app where you can sign up for different categories. And so I have a lot of tech categories. So at night, I'll sit on my iPad or have my iPad in front of me and just go through the Flipboard tech things, and you'd be surprised. Like they always put like, hey, top 5 sites to do this, or top 6 sites. So that actually brings a lot of ideas to me as far as just organically if I'm reading at home. But other than that, it's just kind of trying things, talking to like I still have a few friends still in the media business, so I pick their brain every now and then and kind of see if they have something coming down the road. Yeah,
nice. That's another thing we've learned. Flipboard. I'm going to have to look that up. Well, gosh, Don, thanks so much for taking the time today. This has been very helpful. And I'm trying to share the screen back. I think there it is. I don't know if you can see us. Can anyone see us at this point? I think I'm on Zoom. Oh, no. What can you see there, Don?
I can see your
yes, there we go. It's a very busy desktop today. Anyway, thanks everyone. Remember, if there's anything that you want to share too, tweet that out too. I've learned a lot today. So some cool things to tweet out. Use the hashtag scnLunchinar. And just a reminder too, we've recorded this, so this will be available for you afterwards. And Don, I'll get with you and we'll share out some of these resources and PDFs too. So
yeah, great. And if anyone has any questions, they can always email me.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Don. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, and have a great day. We'll see you.